It's time for the John and Rick Show. The John and Rick Show is not filmed in front of a live studio audience. Are you ready? Let's go! Welcome back to another John and Rick Show. Rick, how's it going?
I'm doing fantastic. How was Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh was fantastic. Fantastic. I had a blast. So we get our rental car at the airport. I had this really great black on black Camry they gave me. It was a great car. So we're driving through the tunnels and it's raining and I made a video. But as we're driving through the tunnels, they put on the polka fight song and then followed by Renegade. And anybody that doesn't know, at Pittsburgh Stadium, to start the fourth quarter, it's a tradition that they crank up Renegade and the whole crowd goes crazy. And so just as I'm coming through the tunnels, and this is one of the most photographed scenes in the world, is when you pop out, like you go through a mountain, you go through the tunnels, and when you pop out, you just see Pittsburgh. And it's even more fabulous at night when it's all lit up. So just as I'm going through those tunnels, they play the old Pittsburgh polka fight song, and I'm listening to that on the radio, and then Renegade comes on as I'm driving through the tunnel and pop out to the city. And I mean to tell you that you couldn't time that any better. Like I could, if I went through there 1,000 times, the chances of those songs playing at the precise moment I'm going through those tunnels, it was just like it was meant to be. God was shining down on me. He knew I was in town.
Yeah, so I watched some of the videos, man, and saw Theo, and it looked really cold, huh? You guys looked
it was cold.
Your butts off there.
Yeah, so I was on a very tight schedule because I had some sick relatives. I had a wedding. I wasn't, only there for a couple of days. I had friends back home, and so I was all over the Pittsburgh area because my family's spread out, but spent most of the time in my hometown. And it turns out that Theo lives like right down the road from where I grew up. And a long time ago, I had told him, I said, next time I come home, I'd like to go and see my hometown and take you around and show you like all the stuff I did. So that's what we did. And it was a blast. It was a lot of fun. Because Theo, because he's from that area, he's like my adopted younger brother.
Sure.
A fellow Yinzer.
Yeah.
But it's crazy because he knows all the places that, I grew up knowing.
Yeah. Good deal.
So then I had a Permane Brothers sandwich. Oh, man, those are so great. They have this great Mancini's bread in Pittsburgh. And we used to go get it right out of the oven when it was still fresh and warm. And then we go get some salami down at the Strip District and some mozzarella cheese and some tomatoes, fresh garden tomatoes you put on there, and just made a fantastic sandwich. So they use the Mancini's bread, and they put coleslaw and French fries on every sandwich, whatever you order. You order a fish sandwich, it comes with that. You order a cheeseburger, everything. A Reuben, and it's just fantastic. Down at the main one, which was the only one for years, they branched out and started them everywhere. They're even down in the Lauderdale area. When I was living and working down there, I went to Permane Brothers. At the main one, there are no substitutions, no subtractions. The one at the airport you can mess around with, but they basically serve you that sandwich. They chop it in half with a big knife and throw it at you on paper. And then usually you put some Tabasco. What we would do is after the clubs or after the bars late at night, like they were open real late, everybody crowds in there and you get yourself a nice big sandwich to suck up all the alcohol. So it was great having one. I hadn't had one in a very long time. And then I'm coming through security to come home, and I give the guy my ID in security. So he's like, okay, you're good. And as I'm walking away, he goes, you make videos. I'm like, no way.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's crazy. Everybody in Pittsburgh's a sports fan, so they probably all watch card-related videos and sports-related videos.
Well, there's so many people that do make videos that are in Pittsburgh too, live in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
See people posting videos of them at the games and so forth. And
It's such a sports city. It's always been my entire life. Uh, they've always had card shows, card shops, always a bunch of athletes coming to the card shows. Uh, growing up in the 70s, the Steelers were almost like a religion. Roberto Clemente was almost like a god. And then the Penguins started winning in like the early 90s. And when Lemieux came to town, they became a huge hockey town. They never were before, but Pittsburghers are fanatical about their sports, and I don't think there's any team that travels better, any fans that travel better than the Steeler fans.
yeah, they do travel because when they come to San Francisco, there's a ton of them. Green Bay travels really well. But there's a lot of fans, they don't. I think our team, 49ers travel really. I mean, it's like the 49ers South when we go down to Los Angeles. And even we just played the Giants, and I was listening to one of the Giants radio stations after, and they were complaining that it was like 50-50 49er. So we have some money here. Long history, like Pittsburgh. We won a lot in the in the 80s and 90s, and people my age that have some money can travel and watch their teams. But yeah, when I was in Pittsburgh, my son lived in Pittsburgh for a few years, believe it or not, and he loved it there. He just, like you were saying, he wasn't a fan of the weather because he's California, but he really loved everything else about Pittsburgh. And he was telling me, on the phone, these guys, I mean, the Steelers, and they complain about the Pirates, and, that type of thing.
MLB should take the team from them like they did to the Redskins.
Yeah. And you'd see T-shirts of, God, I can't remember the player that was traded, and he was a pain in the ass, and they had shirts about him. I mean, it's just like people were complaining, they were mad, they were, whatever the situation is, but they would make fun of the Pirates. It was pretty funny. You'd walk down and these little shops had T-shirts, and they'd make fun of the Pirates, and it's
a shame because that was one of the great MLB franchises for a long time. They were always competitive, won some World Series, they were in the playoffs a lot, but at the bare minimum, they were usually competitive. And it's just a shame what they did to that franchise. One of the oldest teams in baseball. But Pittsburgh is a great city. I get homesick. Every time I'm back there, I'm like, I need to get a place here so I can come back more often or even move back. And then that weather hits. And it's nothing but rain and cold.
Yeah.
And then I come back to the sunshine. So I go back and forth. But I love Pittsburgh. I loved living there. I loved growing up there. And such a great sports history. I'll tell you when the Ravens first went to Baltimore, when the Browns left. So the Browns left in the middle of the night, and the Browns fans, I felt so bad for them. They were our biggest rivalry in the 70s and 80s. They were our biggest rivalry. We loved to hate each other. And I felt so bad for them because they didn't have a team there for a short stint. And they would come to the Steeler games because they didn't have their own team. And they would interview them, and the Steeler fans embraced them and took them in because we were sad we lost our rival. And then when the Ravens first started, I remember the announcers, I think it was Dan Deerdorf, and he used to make a big deal because more than half the stadium were Steeler fans because the Ravens didn't really have fans yet.
Sure.
And there would be terrible towels in Baltimore, and the announcers like, I feel like I'm at a Pittsburgh home game. And then for years, the Bengals didn't sell out, and you could get tickets. When I was in the travel business, we used to sell busloads of Steeler fans down there. And that also was like half the stadium was Steeler fans at one time till they got better.
Did you go to Three River Stadium much when you were?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Okay.
In fact, I was on a charitable committee, with Nellie Bryles, who was a pitcher for the Pirates. And my dad used to always use him as an example for me because he would pitch and fall off the mound. He would throw so hard. he could use them as an example of giving effort. And I was on a committee with him. I got to know him, and he hooked me up with weekend season tickets because I couldn't go every game. So he gave me this weekend package. It was right behind first base. They were great. And I went to all the weekend games. I
That's
was there a lot. I used to get the U.S. Air box, for every single Monday night football game the Steelers played in. It was
cool.
fantastic. And I would get go watching the Mellon Bank box as well. And I also got the Penguins box and the Pirates box. So I used to live it up.
Oh, cool. That's so cool. Brings back great memories. And they had those stadiums where all-purpose stadiums like Three Rivers, Veteran Stadium, even Candlestick Park.
Yeah.
Uh,
It was pretty much a terrible place to watch a game
yeah,
compared to the modern stadiums.
sure.
Uh,
But it
but
was
I
your
had a,
stadium. It was
I,
your stadium, man. You know?
yeah, right. And I got to play in it. I have a seat and a piece of the turf over here. I had a friend who I went to I met him at Steve Glass's baseball camp. I hadn't seen him in years. He happened to be in my hometown at a bar, my local bar I would frequent when I was single. And I ran into him, and he's like, "Hey, I work for the Pirates. If you ever need tickets, give me a call." And I'm like, okay, I wasn't going to bug him. So one day I had a blind date, and we were going to the game. So I called him up. I'm like, "Hey, I have a blind date. Can you hook me up with some good tickets?" So we go to the stadium, and I walk in. They escort us down to our seats, and they were right behind home plate. I would set my drink on like the wall behind home plate. Like I was right there. The guy shooting the radar gun was behind me over my shoulder. I was in front of him. The girl was like, "How did you get these tickets?"
That's cool.
Good times.
Oh, man. Brings back the memories, so for sure.
Yeah. So, hey, what's going on with shell bidding? Should we talk about that? I don't think enough people are talking about it.
You think? It's like the offensive, defensive football. We have defensive shilling and offensive shilling.
Yeah, I
I've
never
never
knew
heard
such a
those
thing
terms
existed.
before, but
You learn something new every day. The modern hobby introduces us to new stupid shit all the time.
it's been happening forever. I mean, literally just forever. And
Forever, since they've had auctions.
so they have auctions. So
Not saying that's right. It's always been wrong. And that's why I personally have stayed away from certain auction houses, certain sellers on eBay, because I might not have had proof, but I knew they were shilling because the
sure,
cards they go way up at the end of auctions. I'm not accusing anybody. I'm not going to accuse anybody. But that's what happens with Greg Morris auctions. At the last second, they go way up, way
yeah,
above what they should sell for. And when I lose out there, I go looking around, and I find the same card in a better grade for far less.
sure.
So why is it? Is it just because he has a great following? Could be. Could be. I'm not accusing anybody of anything. But throughout eBay, back with PWCC and all those auctions, it's just suspect when the thing goes twice as much in the last minute of the auction.
Yeah, yeah. But you know what? It's happening, so you set how much you want to pay. You kind of an idea. And if it goes over, it goes over, and you move on to the next card. I mean, it's a
That's
shame that
exactly
it's
how
happening,
I am.
but,
And like I said, I usually find it cheaper and in better condition elsewhere
yeah,
after I miss out on it. But you just have to set your price, and if it goes over that, so be it. Nobody wants to feel like they're being taken advantage of or ripped off. And that's what shield bidding is. And anybody that dismisses it, I don't know why. Shield bidding's wrong, okay? It's like that dude from South Park, Mr. What's his name? The guidance counselor. Shield bidding's bad, okay?
I guess it's just
Yeah,
because Dr. Beckett said he mentioned it, and so everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, if he mentions it and he does this, whatever he was doing, then it kind of surprised everyone, and then I
it
think everyone just
it's
made videos on that
it's
topic."
shocking and kind of sad, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
to hear that.
Yeah. I
Uh,
don't. I don't think he was doing. Just kind of just naive. What he was doing, which is kind of surprising. That
yeah.
he was just trying. Not say it's right. I'm just saying his thing wasn't to him to make the money. He was hoping his friend would not get. He's
Yeah, I mean, I get
offering.
it.
Yeah.
I get it. But the thing is, you're fearful you're going to miss out on, you don't want somebody to get a good deal on your card. Well, then set a bigger
Yeah.
minimum.
Exactly.
When I used to sell cards on eBay or Facebook, I ran into that. Some cards you practically give away. And I decided, you know what? I'm just going to put a bigger minimum bid then.
Sure.
You're putting that low bid to entice people, or you're doing a reserve, whatever. But just do a bigger minimum bid for God's sakes,
Yeah.
and then you don't have to worry about it.
I
But
hear.
to mislead people or have people shill bid to get it up is, to me, that's not good, man. That is unethical. And shill bidding's a crime if it's not allowed by the auction and disclosed. And quite frankly, I wouldn't participate in an auction where it was allowed,
Mm.
to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Why would you be allowed to bid on your own card? That is absolutely absurd, underhanded, not above board. Like I don't get it.
Yeah. I hear you.
Get off our lawns.
Get off our lawns, man. The modern hobby. There's always something that comes up each week. It's like
Yeah. I don't know what it is about our hobby. It brings on the people that it brings on so many people that are just trying to gouge you for every dollar they can get out of you. There are a lot of bad actors in this hobby, and it's just like they're attracted. I don't know if it's just this hobby. Like if you collect coins or stamps or military equipment, like does this all go on there too? Do we just not hear about it?
probably.
Right.
Oh man. So today, I guess we're going to cover two different issues, right? The
Yes.
33 Worsh cigars, which are you don't see them every day, and the Delong 33 Delong gum cards.
33, 1933 was such a phenomenal year for cards. There are so many great sets. You have the 33 Gaudi, you have the Tattoo Orbit, you have the DeLong, you have the Worch cigar. There's many others. Uh, it was just such a great year. And Worch cigar and DeLong are two of my all-time favorite card sets.
I totally agree. They are same here, man. They're just beautiful cards, man. Beautiful cards, and I mean, you
I've
can't
been
go wrong.
fascinated with those DeLong since I first saw them. The players standing in the stadium, just such a classic design.
Oh man, I totally agree. Whoever came up with that design should be right up there on Mount Rushmore of designs for baseball cards, man.
And
Crazy.
DeLong didn't last long, did it?
No,
The
man.
company.
We can get into that too, but we're gonna start. You want to start with DeLong or Worsh? I guess
Let's
we're
start
going.
with Worch. They're a
Okay,
little bit more
Worsh.
obscure for people.
Worch. Worsh cigars. So the origin of them. When I did a little deep dive here, early 1900s, the company was in Detroit, and it was called Spitz and Worsh Company. And then Albert Worsh moved on from that company and started his own. It was called the Worsh Cigar Company in the 20s, and this was in Minnesota, St. Paul, Minnesota, of all places.
Now, did you smoke those cigars back then, or were you too young to smoke at that point?
I was too slow. You know what? We have a buddy of ours that's a misfit. Heck, he's got a cigar in his mouth right there.
Yep, Don.
That loves a good cigar, and now, and you know what? I was into chewing tobacco. Don't tell anyone. When I was
I was
younger,
too. I
but
grew
I
up in the.
was never a cigarette or cigar person for whatever reason. My parents didn't smoke, So maybe that's why. And I don't know. But well, whatever. So I wasn't ever a cigar person, but I enjoy the smell. But I just never was a cigar person.
I grew up in farm country. We had we started we would chew tobacco very young, and we had this dumb game we played. We would draw a box. I'm sorry to get off track, but this memory is hilarious because it's so stupid, and we shouldn't have been chewing tobacco to begin with. But we would take a rock, and we had country roads. Nobody ever drove on them unless you were coming home or leaving, and we would draw a box, a square with a line in the middle, and we would put on old clothes, and we would steal our dad's chew,
Yeah.
and one person would stand on one side of the line, and the other person would stand on the other side, and you had to stay within your box, and you would get up spit, and then you would spit on each other. You try to hit each other, and if you left the box to dodge it, you had to stand there, and the other person got a free spit. And there was actually some strategy because if you spit too and missed, you had to wait until you could get some more spit. It's such a dumb game. But when you grow up in the country, you don't have, that's what we were outside playing all the time. And we used to make up games. We used to play tackle, hide and go seek late at night, put on dark hoodies and try to get to a home base without the rest of the kids killing you.
I know there's no video games or anything like that. You had to actually play and communicate with people and
Right.
fight with kids and get along with kids and everything else. So,
yep. All right. So I'm sorry to get
all right.
distracted.
So Worsh Cigars. So basically, he started his own company, Worsh Cigar Company in Minnesota, St. Paul, Minnesota. And he came up with 3 different sets. The first one was 1932. And originally, people thought it was a Wheaties set. Because they were blank back. It was a Minneapolis Millers minor league team there in Minnesota, 24 card set, all minor leaguers, and the manager of that team, it was in the set, is I don't have this card from the set, but I have an autograph here card of Donnie Bush.
Oh, Donnie
Bush.
Donnie Bush, one of the top shortstops.
Owen. He signed it Owen here, but he played with shortstop, right? With
yep.
Cobb and so forth. But he was a manager.
That era.
He was a manager of the team. He's in the set, and Paul Richards was on the team. The guy with the funniest card with his ears sticking out,
the 51 Bowman.
Yeah,
it's like a big cartoon.
Rube Benton. There's a few. Jess Perry. There's a few that ended up being in the major leagues or were coaches, and so anyway, they advertised for Worsh Cigars advertised on WCCO radio there, and they would that radio station would play the games.
Yeah,
and so they would advertise for the team, but they thought it was, again, most people thought it was a Wheaties set because Wheaties came out with a set in 33 of the Minneapolis Millers too, 1 year later.
I've never seen one of those, by the way.
Yeah, they're there's only a few in existence the
minor league cards could be super rare because they weren't as popular and limited distribution.
Yeah, on those cards on the back of the Wheaties ones, it was like a postcard, but it have an advertisement for Wheaties on the back.
Oh,
so you put 2 and 2 together, postcard size, the 32 Worsh cigar minor leaguers postcard size, but just the Worsh cigars that was blank back, and it had a facsimile auto. And the Wheaties card also had the 33 had a facsimile auto. So putting 2 and 2 together, that's what people thought. Well, in 2012, in a warehouse in Minnesota, they found out that in this warehouse there was a set, and next to the set, or wrapped around the set, was wrappers of Worsh cigars. So put 2 and 2 together. These were the Worsh cigar set. And So that was the 32 issue. And in 33, they came out with the Major League set, which is, I think, some people say it's like 147 cards, 161 cards. I'm not even sure if we know yet, because I don't know.
Yeah.
They're so tough to find. Some pop is like one or two on these cards, and it's a Major League issue set. Again, people thought way back before 2012 that these were also Wheaties cards.
Now these were redemptions. Do you know what you had to do to redeem
Yeah,
for
you
them?
would turn in the bands, the cigar bands.
How
You'd
many? Do
mail
you know?
them in apparently, and you would receive a card. And I know
Do
you
you know?
have an envelope.
Yeah, I'm going to show it here in a minute. Do you know how many you had to redeem?
My research, it did not say, and
Yeah, I've never seen it either.
I don't know if there's a box that on the box said, hey, this is, you send in a certain amount of, or you open up the cigar box and it had like a little card that you would fill out and tell you the rules and send it into the company. My research shows there's no information on that, except for most people think you turned in cigar bands in order to
Now, let me
receive.
ask you this, Rick. I have suspected that they may have been a multi-year set because there are different variations
Yes,
of some of the cards.
yes.
And it doesn't seem like how would that happen if they were kind of all printed at the same time?
Yeah, I agree because I have a card. I mean, the difference on some of these cards is some would have the advertisement, a little on the corner would have an advertisement or who actually where the card came from. Like all the cards came from the newspaper there, the St.
Right.
Paul newspaper or the Star newspaper. So that's where Worsh got these images of the players, and you would have a little said St. Paul newspaper or the Star newspaper, and some cards don't have that on them at all, and some have just the last name of the player, the first last name, the team
And,
name in a
and they have
box,
some
without a
in a
box.
box, some without a box.
Yeah, so you're right. They were
Do
obviously
you think do
printed.
you think they're multi-year?
Some people say it's 33 and 34.
I would
Um,
be in that camp.
yeah,
I would.
yeah, but there's no. Most people they mention 33 as a set. Now to go back, I know we're moving on here, but what's interesting is you can go online right now, and I went online to find a 32 Worsh minor league card on eBay, and there's one on there of a player. And know what they say that whoever posted the card in the description, it says it's a Wheaties card, but it's a Worsh
Yeah.
card. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
still to this day, for sure, it's a Worsh card, but they're still posting it. So the grading companies too are all over the board. You have Wheaties, they say 32, they say the 32 issue is 33. They say, just
Yeah.
it's all over the
But,
board.
and before we go any further, let's show what we're talking about here. This is the Jimmy Fox.
It has the box. That one has a box.
This one has a box. They're blank backs.
And that's the 33 issue, all major leaguers. And
Yeah.
glossy
So,
finish. Beautiful
and I
cards if
got
you see
this.
them in person.
Yeah, they're beautiful, beautiful glossy. Yeah, I got this Tony Lazzeri, and it came with the envelope. Here's what the envelopes look like. They were mailed in.
And that's why we know those came from Worsh, not Wheaties.
Yeah. Here is a Bill Terry. This is my most recent pickup of these.
And see,
Got
that one
this.
doesn't
I
have a
got this
box
not so
there.
long ago.
That one doesn't have a box. Does it say Bill Terry, the team too, or just Bill Terry?
It says New York NL.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. So some would just say Bill Terry. Some would have a box, no box.
Right.
Some would have a little advertisement for the newspaper.
Yeah. Here's Carl Hubble. It also has the team name listed.
Yeah,
And of
fantastic.
course, Carl Hubble holds the record for most consecutive wins. He won 24 games over 2 seasons in a row.
Yeah.
And my man Elroy Face is second on that list. I think he won 22. But
I have,
I think his were in the same season, if I'm not mistaken. Rube Marquard, he had I think it was 19 in a row. Those were all in the same season. He had 18, and they later credited him with an additional one, I believe.
yeah, I have a big boy. There's Ruth is in the set, and also Lou Gehrig, and I have the Lou Gehrig here, and I picked this one up at a Chicago National.
I was with you. You do not see those often, man.
Just a beautiful. I mean, if you see this in person, the gloss, they must have spent some money. The Worsh
They're
cigar.
beautiful images. They really are. When you're like in person, I mean, they're just gorgeous.
And then this one has Lou Gehrig with the box here, and he's also has one without a box. And I think the pop on each are about 8 with PSA. And the only reason I bring that up is, they don't come up. The main players, like the big boys, usually don't come up every day for auction. So
You do not see that Gehrig too often.
yeah,
I saw one a little while ago, and that may be the first one I've ever seen for sale other than the one you picked up.
yeah.
And of course, I didn't see that. You bought that when I wasn't looking.
Yeah. You never spend that much back then. You'd never spend that much money on a card, man. You'd rather have 20 other Worsh cigars.
That's true. I'm cheap.
Yeah. So I made some. I mean, I traded. It was a long story, but I went in my video when I. But anyway, so they have the 32 minor league set, the 33 major leagues, the ones we're showing you, and then they had a 33-34 American Association minor league set also. It looked very similar to the ones we just showed you, but each of those had the little advertisement or little box with it said where the card came from, the newspaper, and they're a minor league set.
Yeah, and we don't know. Back to what you said earlier, we don't even know the full checklist for sure, right?
Yeah, and we don't on any of these really. There's many variations with the ones, the 33s, the 34, 33, 34 minor leagues. It just, you don't know. There's so many of them, and somebody would really have to piece together, like we did in previous videos, if this minor leaguer played this year, that year. But you're right. I think it's our 33 issues were probably printed a few different times, and it might have been a 2-year. Now, the thing what's interesting is in 33, they advertised, the Worsh Cigar Company advertised on that radio station, the Miller's games, okay? But mid-season, apparently they dropped out and Wheaties took over for the advertisement for the team on the radio station.
Interesting.
Yeah, and Wheaties came out with that again. I said that 33 issued set. What else?
We could check in with Stuke. He'll know all about that minor.
Yeah, stuff. You know what? I saw. I think that building is still standing. Where Worsh Cigar building, an old brick building. They've remodeled it, and now I think it's some kind of educational building or something like that. But I think it's still standing there after all these years. And
when did they go out of business?
Pardon me?
You know? When did they went business?
They went out of business shortly after this, because I guess they just didn't have the money. Same with
DeLong. Same with so both of these sets. You hear that you hear that pretty often with these card sets.
Yeah. So Worsh Cigars, and Minneapolis Millers, man, they had Willie Mays played on that team. Ted Williams played on the team. Zach Wheat played.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
that's interesting.
Would have been go back in time, man. So they had long minor
Were
league
they
history.
attached to a specific major league team? Because the minors were a little different back then, weren't they?
Yeah, and actually, 32. I read that in 32 they won the championship. I think it was a Double A American Association Championship. The 32 team with Paul Richards and Bush as the
Oh,
manager. Yeah,
well, that makes sense. They were selling cards of them then.
yeah. So anyway, Worsh cigars. It's a beautiful set and short
Beautiful
lived.
set.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
go on to another beautiful short-lived set.
yeah. There
All
we
right,
go.
you want to show? I know you have this card too. You want to show them together?
All right, we're gonna play. I think you're gonna beat me.
You
Showcase
know what?
Showdown.
You know what
Showcase
card I'm talking about,
Showdown.
right?
I don't remember what yours grades.
Showcase Showdown.
I got okay. You ready?
I'm ready.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. I got a 1.5.
I got a 2. I
Oh,
finally win.
we got a winner.
I finally win.
And yeah,
One of
man,
the
I was
greatest
so
cards
happy.
ever made.
Oh, this is one of the most important cards in my set. I was a smile on my face when I picked it. I can still remember showing everyone at the Lowell's Hotel when I picked this up before you were showing up at the National, and I was just could have had it on my chest the whole time, man.
Man, I couldn't stop looking at this thing when I got it. I had waited my whole life for one of these. My whole life.
I'm staring at it right now, man.
Me
Oh,
too. All right, we're
beautiful.
getting sidetracked. The other one that I wanted all my life, ever since I got that this book here, this is what introduced me. This Burt Randolph Sugar book with the reprints. This is what introduced me to a lot of these cards. And when I saw them in here when I was young, man, they were my dream cards. So the other one was Pie Trainer, of course, being a Pittsburgh Pirate fan.
I got wait, Showcase Showdown.
Okay,
I got a 4.
I got a 4.
Oh, tie.
Who else do you have in that set?
That's the only
Let's
2 I
see.
have in the set.
Oh man, come on. Here's Jimmy Fox.
Now you notice that some have blue sky, some have yellow sky,
Yeah,
and some have
and
red sky.
some are horizontal.
Yeah, there's
Lefty
2 cards
Grove.
horizontal. Martin and Grove.
Yep. Here's the other horizontal one. One of the greatest cards ever made. Definitely one of the greatest cards in the set. Pepper Martin,
Yeah.
a scrappy player who showed up in the postseason. Of course, they didn't have playoffs back then. Showed up in the World Series. Mickey Cochran is a great one.
Yeah, that is fantastic.
Marty McManus. Cool card. I have a near set of these. Here's Goose Goslin. And Bill Terry.
Jeez, look at you.
A few more. Lefty O'Doul.
Lefty O'Doul.
What before you factor in before they changed it and included the Negro League players? What was he, 5th highest batting average in history?
Should be in the
Fourth,
Hall of Fame.
fourth or
Should be in the
fifth?
Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I agree with you. Here is another one of the greatest cards in the set, and that's Jimmy Dykes. I think it's a fantastic card.
So you have the red skyline, red sky.
Yeah, and he was a good player. He's one of those, one of the better non-Hall of Fame players, Jimmy Dykes. And then this guy was one of the top third basemen of his era, Freddie Lindstrom, and he went to Pittsburgh for a short stint. And this shows him with the Pirates. And when he went to the Pirates, of course, they had Pie Trainer, so they moved him to the outfield. And then I forget what team he went to next, but they moved him back to third base. But he was known to be one of the top third basemen of the era. And that's a cool card. He looks like a pitcher there. Freddie
So
Lindstrom.
which one do you think is your? I mean, I only have. I love the Pie Trainer though. I don't know. That's his famous image of him.
I love the Pie Trainer too. It's just hard not. I can't
Yeah.
decide if it's the Lou Gehrig or the Pie Trainer that are my favorite, but I also absolutely love the Mickey Cochran
Yeah.
and the Pepper Martin and the Jimmy Dykes. I love them all, Rick. I love them all. Such a great set.
You got to
Such a
finish that
great
sucker
set.
off, man.
You know what? So I was focused on doing that, but my God, these cards have gone way up. And even for no names, they're going for hundreds.
Yeah.
And it has become very expensive to finish these off because I've been trying to get the Geringer, the Chuck Klein, um, but even the, what is it? What's his name?
Yeah.
Melillo, or that one's even pricey. They're just all so pricey now. I will at some point.
Yeah.
Right now, I need one more card for my 38 Gouty. I'm trying to pick up a Mungo. I made an offer on one today. We'll see if he takes it. After I complete that, then maybe I'll focus more on this one.
Gotcha. Yeah, there's
Because
only 20.
I have most of the big cards, but those other cards I mentioned are also big cards. Oh, and Lefty Gomez, that's a pricey one.
There's no really short prints. I was looking at the population of them. They're all about the same, population wise, because they weren't giving anything away. If they were giving something away, there'd be a card that would be short printed. But only 24 cards in the set, and 15 Hall of Famers. There was
I love these vintage smaller sets because they are, it is achievable to be able to complete them. Imagine if in 33 Gouty had 700 and some cards like tops. I mean, you would have to be a billionaire to be able to complete all the sets from back then. So when you're talking about Oxford Confectionery, this one, the Tattoo Orbits, the 38 Gouties, it's achievable. Now, when you get into the Oxford Confectionery, you got a Ruth and a Cobb you have to contend with, stuff like that's in some of those sets, but it is achievable at least in your lifetime.
yeah.
Especially if you got those, you got the Ruth and the Cobb years ago, you could knock that set out, no problem.
So Howard DeLong was the one who started the company in Boston in 1932, and he originally was a treasurer for Goudy gum. It was high up in the Goudy Corporation, and apparently Goudy in 32 sold the company to Corning family. Okay.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, in 32.
My wife works for Corning.
Oh, okay. A member of the Corning family, it says.
Okay.
In 32. So most likely he knew he was going to be leaving, new company taking over. He kept the name Goudy and so forth. But so he ended up starting his own DeLong company. And he basically, his thing, and when I was reading, he wasn't so much into the gum, but he was into getting a patent and machinery for making gum. He was into that type of thing.
Yeah.
And so he ended up selling his company in 41, the patent for whatever he developed, the machinery for making gum, to a company that made the double play gum cards in 41.
Oh, okay.
So I'm sure he was instrumental in that because he worked for the company, even though he sold the patent to the company, and he was high up executive in that company. And they had the double play gum, and they were called, yeah. So I think everyone think he was
Double Play the company. Was that the gum?
That was the double play. It was double play, right?
1941 Double Play. But
yeah.
who issued those? I don't.
There were. Let's see here. I'm looking
the company.
Here. Gum Products Incorporated is who bought the patent.
Gum Products Incorporated.
Yeah,
Do you know what gum they were issued with?
Pardon me?
I was just curious. Did they have like a double play gum or something?
That'd
be cool.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I
But
don't know what kind of products that that came with what gum or what it was
sure.
called.
Some people think that even DeLong kind of started the Gaudi cards too, but I think he might have, he left before, maybe had the idea, but never, because he already left the company by 33 they were coming out with these cards, but he might have came up with the idea to produce the 33 Gaudi cards before he left the company. And but
Interesting.
yeah,
A,
so
a
one
word
hit
about
wonder.
just a word about Corning, because everybody's like, "Oh, you make plates." The Corning Company, years ago, everybody knew Corningware, right? And they made plates and those dishes and stuff, and they spun that off. That is now a separate company. It's called Owens Corning. Owens Corning. And Corning, the company that exists now, is a glass manufacturer, and they invented fiber optics. So they're a fiber company. They make the screens, the flat screens for TVs, and they make the Gorilla Glass for iPhones,
Okay.
which for years they never disclosed. I guess that was more recently that they they can say that. Um, so it's an incredible company with all kind of different divisions, but they no longer make plates.
I got you. And I think I was reading somewhere where some people thought that maybe he was underfinanced for his company, the DeLong Gum Company, and that's why it was just a one-hit wonder. And but he was, I think, mainly into patents and machinery for gum. He retired in on this product company that he worked for when he sold the patent. I think he retired in like the 1951 or something like that. So he was around a long time in the gum industry. What other stuff can we talk about? Oh,
Well, oh, go ahead.
I would say on the back here of each card, there's a tip, a baseball tip,
Yes.
like fielding or batting or whatever. And the person that wrote this was a guy named Austin Lake. It says here, baseball editor of the Boston Transcript. Okay. But this gentleman here, also wrote the mini bios on the Diamond Star cards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so it's just kind of interesting that
He
they
was
were
like the Keith Olbermann of his day
exactly. And
with
the
the
backing
76.
looks similar to the Diamond Stars backing.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
A
It
lot of
does.
information. So most likely whoever printed these suckers probably printed the Diamond Stars too. I'm just guessing.
Could be.
Never
So
know.
that brings us to our newest segment, which we kind of started last week, and that is Bustin' Victor's Chops. So, could the
Wait,
DeLong or the Worch be rookie cards?
for sure. For sure.
But the Worch are oversized,
They're
and they
oversized.
were premiums.
They're premiums. That's
So you
true.
say they could be rookie cards?
I don't know.
The
What do you think?
DeLong were the DeLong. They were regional, right?
Yeah.
Could they be rookie cards?
God, I'm not
All right,
getting
we're just messing around. Shout out to Victor.
Yeah. But beautiful cards. It was interesting too. I see here my little notes here. In 1990, a proof sheet of these DeLong cards came out of the woodwork. A proof
No
sheet.
way.
And the person that the person that was the graver or the printer of these cards, he still had the proof sheet in 1990. So 60 years later, he was still alive. And he said he kept the proof sheet because he thought it was the greatest thing he ever came up with. But there was no name attached to him or whatever. But this was in 1990. And it's really interesting.
Amazing.
24 cards on the sheet.
That's amazing. Oh man, I'd love to have that.
Yeah, it's I'll send you a picture of the proof sheet. But
Okay.
Really
Just as a
cool.
side note, I just wanted to point out when I was referencing Keith Olbermann, when he was 17 years old, he wrote all the backs for the 1975 SSPC cards. That's right, SSPC. Am I right? Do I have
Yeah.
those letters right? And they're great cards. They look like the 53 Bowman color. And they were made in 75. I believe they were distributed, though, in 76. And they were shut down because they didn't, Top shut them down. They didn't have the licensing, I guess. But that's what I was referring to. Keith Olbermann wrote all the backs and actually took some of the photos as well.
You know, we also this forgot to mention is that the wrapper was play ball picture gum on the wrapper. That's what it said, play
Huh.
ball picture gum. And basically, DeLong was they called it play ball gum. Basically, they were promoting.
Huh. Did it
And
taste good back then?
you know what some people said that one, he was underfinanced, and two, that the gum wasn't very good. So we'll never know on that. And there's
were any of
no
the baseball card gums good?
no,
They weren't bad, but
yeah, they weren't that good.
they weren't all that good. I mean, I remember the Topps gums
Man,
were pretty hard.
you would
The
just shove,
Fleer.
man. I remember just shove as many as you can put in your mouth, man. A big old
Yeah, and when Fleer came out, they were like stuck to the cards, like this.
yeah.
Yeah, if you didn't, if they sat around for a while, I bought a box of those, and that gum was notorious. You'd have to pull it off of there.
That's crazy.
All right, Rick, you have anything else?
No, I
I
think
don't.
so. I don't either.
I don't want to get into any of the other hobby topics going around.
Nothing. You don't want to get into other stuff?
The show bidding's fine. That was good enough.
Shill bidding's enough. Defensive shilling. We need to get a T-shirt.
Defensive shilling, yeah.
Shilling.
Is there anybody else you want to get off your lawn?
No, I'm good.
I'm good.
All right.
Let's show these
There we
babies.
go. One more time. Look at this.
The only time I won Showcase Showdown.
Showcase Showdown, baby.
All right, give me your clothes, Rick.
One more thing. There's no borders on these suckers, man.
What do you mean?
No, barely. Right?
There are borders.
Well, barely.
I think they look good that way.
Yeah. More card.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby. The Iron Horse.
The Iron Horse, baby. All right. This is Rick, Vintage Eyeball Cards. Bye.
I got to go.